Welcome to Marcus Ferrell Live. I am Marcus. Going live to you today, all the way live from the state of Georgia, representing Florida. Used to be in Arizona. Is what it is. Today we are going through the latest headlines: race, law enforcement, Maga, and extremism. I wanted to start the thing off real quick by click this. I want to start this thing off by saying something to Maga and to conservatives, whether pundits or just conservatives in general. When it comes down to the Epstein files, when it comes down to ICE, when it comes down to conservatives, Black Americans, I just need you to know something. Black Americans do not care who did what in the past. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. It seems as if when it comes down to the Epstein files, Republicans want to have a gotcha moment. Oh, Bill Clinton might have been in it. Gotcha. Or when it comes down to ICE, oh, Barack Obama deported people. Gotcha. Let me tell you something. This is very important, specifically about Black people. We don't care. That's right, folks. We don't care. Now, there are going to be some party loyalists, and this is not a pro-Democratic Party, anti-Democratic Party conversation that I'm trying to have with anyone right now as we speak. This is not a pro-Democratic Party, anti-Democratic Party conversation that I'm having. This conversation that I'm having right now is that the gotcha moment that you think is such a big-time gotcha moment is not a gotcha moment to Black Americans. It's not. If Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files, Black America is not going to be like, oh, life is over. If you say that Barack Obama deported immigrants at a high rate, we know he did. Some of us agree with it, some of us don't. But the issue is now. See, when these conservatives decide to go out of their way to create these talking points about, ooh, Democrats did it too, they might have done it. And I'm not the biggest fan of capitalism, but they did it under the auspice of capitalism. Meanwhile, the Republican Party is doing everything under the auspice of capitalism with a flavor of, not even a flavor, a complete breakdown of fascism. That's right. See, here's the thing. The big-time American people, the flag-waving, red hat wearing, I am better than everybody, I need to carry my gun to Walmart. Republican Party currently, as we speak right now, has to battle its own fascists because now they want to claim that Alex Preddy, the dear brother, the ER nurse in Minnesota who was killed by ICE agents on camera, they want to make up a lie. They want to make up a lie and say that this man brandished a firearm and harassed ICE agents doing their job. It's so bad at this point where there is an eyewitness and we don't know her name, and I don't want to even call out her name. She is afraid, according to local news up there, she is afraid right now of retaliation from ICE because she witnessed the whole thing. She was in the camera shot. You can see her. She's afraid to go home right now because ICE agents have detained, basically captured anyone that was on the scene and the person that was closest to it. She's running around free right now, and she sent a letter saying that she is afraid to go home because ICE is looking for her. And you know what? She's smart to do that. She's extremely smart to do that. So meanwhile, this Republican Party, this conservative party, and listen, this is not a pro-Democrat conversation I'm having. This is definitely an anti-conservative conversation. Because where are your conservative values right now? I want to know. Where's the don't tread on me, folks? You remember the Tea Party? You remember the snake with the yellow broken snake that they used to carry at the rallies that said, "Don't tread on me"? What happened to that? Because right now, they're treading. They're treading on every single aspect of the Constitution. What happened to the libertarians? They used to scream, "We don't want government overreach," under the auspice that they were afraid that poor brown and black people were going to get benefits from the government. Therefore, they were conservative. What happened to those guys? Well, I tell you what happened to those guys. Era 404. And I don't mean area code Atlanta. I mean, they have a syntax error. They have a programming error right now. And the error that these guys are having is the fact that the same exact things that they blamed on the Obama administration, they blamed on Democrat this, Democrat that. And by the way, if you notice something, Trump is an expert, a master artist at deflecting, at not taking responsibility, at blaming others, and at lying. What's up, BKH? That's right. So these same folks, these same people, family, these same exact people who went out of their way to blame, say, "Hey, look, you know, the Democrats, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're trying to help people." They finally got what they wanted, but here's the problem with that. It backfired, and now it's affecting them and the things that they live by and the rules that they live by. Don't feel so good when somebody might pull you over at your little going into Walmart because you want to carry your AR-15 at church and into Walmart so you can go get some damn eggs that are overpriced at $7.15. But this is what you asked for, conservatives. This is what you wanted. You guys have all the power right now, and you're messing it up. You're fumbling the bag, conservatives. You're fumbling the bag. Why do I say you're fumbling the bag? Because you guys went and got the Supreme Court, both houses, the House and the Senate, the presidency, packed it with Trump loyalists, didn't even do a background check on these fools, and expect high quality government to serve you the way they want. No, these people are not serving the American people, which includes you. Oh, these conservatives are having a hard time right now because they are finally figuring out what it feels like to be the person that you pointed fingers at your hope for the past 30, 40, 50 years. The welfare queens, the absent father homes. Quick story, if you don't know about this, when it came down to benefits, when SNAP started, I'm going to tell y'all a story real quick so y'all understand where their ideology kind of comes from. See, they get the same benefits. Conservatives get the same benefits as Democrats. I don't know if y'all knew that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, BKH. I appreciate that. Conservatives used to get the same benefits as Democrats. In the 50s and the 60s, when welfare packages used to come in boxes, you used to get your food in a box or a can or something like that when you were on welfare. But here's the thing. When they sent it to white homes, they labeled it rations. When they sent it to black homes, they labeled it welfare. The government helped these people feel better about themselves off top when it comes down to welfare. They separated who was black and who was white. If it went to a black zip code, the word on the same exact box said welfare. White homes, they said rations. Now, this has been implemented in their mind because of the famous Eisenhower statement where he said, you know, make the poorest white man feel like he's better than the lowest white man, feel like he's better than the average black man, and you can steal a wallet out of his pocket. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The Trump administration is stealing the wallet out of these white folks' hands. And guess what? There is no Obama to blame. There is no Obama to blame. There is no Joe Biden to blame. Y'all have everything, and you're doing it to yourselves. Thank you for the gift. You guys are complete idiots. You thought it was for other. You thought that they were just going to mess with other. Some of y'all even thought that when these riots broke out, see, because we know what's going on. The black community knows what's going on. And I am bringing this up from a black perspective because we are literally the canary in the mine when it comes down to what happens in America. We are the canary. We are the test subjects. Things get done to us quicker than anyone else. And we have had experience doing it. And we know what's going on with the current administration. We saw it coming from 1,000 miles away. And we decided to back up. Now, some folks said, oh, okay, well, black folks aren't out there, must not be serious. But now they're hurting the white community. So I bring these points up to say this right here. Oh, it is time for a rainbow coalition. It is absolutely time for a rainbow coalition. But it's time for us to actually have elected officials that are in office that are not only un-Trump, but progressive. That's right. I said it. I'll say the word progressive. I don't mean it in the terms of it got to be Bernie Sanders. If you know anything about society, you know that if you know anything about politics, Bernie Sanders got his platform from Jesse Jackson's 88 and 84 campaign. Every single exact word except for one thing, and that was reparations. And he finally came back around to that in 2020, from what I understand. Bernie had to support reparations. Hell, if Bernie hadn't supported reparations, there'll be white kids at Yale right now rocking reparations now t-shirts, but that's neither here nor there. MAGA extremism whitewash. Trump pardons January rioters and rewrites history. In a brazen display of MAGA extremism and power, President Trump has openly embraced the January 6th insurrectionists, even recast them as patriots. On day one of his return to office, Trump issued pardons to nearly 1,600 people. That set up the ethos of what's happening right now. I'm going to go through a list real quick because we got a situation in DC right now that needs to be talked about. And I don't care what party it is, but I'm not here to bash Democrats, because at least some of them are willing to stand up and say something about the Trump administration or independents. But the Republican Party, we're going to talk about them today. Real quick. Who's backing ICE and staying silent on its shootings? It's time to name and shame the elected officials who love to thump their chest in support of ICE, but have not condemned the agency's recent shootings of civilians in Minnesota. These folks have consistently supported ICE's agenda, funding, praising, and defending the agency, yet when ICE agents kill innocent people, they suddenly have lockjaw. Here's our hall of shame of current officials complicit through silence. Number one, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Trump has been ICE's cheerleader in chief, unleashing this crackdown calling an ICE-killed protester a gunman rather than condemning the shooting. He expressed the utmost confidence in DHS Secretary Noam after Preddy's death, and only to decline to say if the killing was appropriate or not. In other words, zero condemnation. This is the same man who labeled peaceful BLM protesters as thugs, but is fine with federal agents gunning down a nurse. Trump's hands are all over this policy. Expecting him to denounce ICE violence is like asking a mob boss to denounce his hitmen. More importantly, Trump doesn't have his private army. See, this freaking Constitution. That doggone Constitution that gets in my way every single time I want to do things to black and brown people. And now the black and brown people aren't even coming out to the streets. So now we got to harass the good white people. I wish I could put the Marines on them. That's Trump. Trump is willing to tear down the Constitution to fight against American citizens. And if you look around the world right now and you think about what's happening in Venezuela, Greenland, even with those two, Iran, even with those three issues in America right now, guess who his number one target is? Us. You, the person who's looking at me from behind the screen. Vice President J.D. Vance, he can't run. While he's busy running around with Charlie Kirk's wife. He's a staunch Maga loyalist. VP Vance disgracefully amplified the smear campaign against Alex Preddy, reposting a tweet that called the slain nurse an assassin. Vance hasn't voiced a shred of empathy for the victim or criticism of ICE. Instead, he's parroting Stephen Miller vile propaganda. As an elected official and a human being, Vance should be ashamed of himself. He's basically giving ICE a pat on the back for murder. He's prepping himself for his run for president. You do know that. Now, here's the problem with that, though. They have a problem called turnout. Vance is going to have a very big problem because at some point, one of those polls are going to hit the White House and somebody has to say, hey, boss, this ain't working out for us. I wonder who's going to deliver that message. I wonder how many times Poopy Pants done cussed out some assistant that said, hey, man, I just got the polling numbers from fake news. Oh, it's fake news. Representative Mike Johnson, he's on our list too. The Speaker of the House. Johnson has been a reliable ICE apologist and even pushed a House resolution praising the ICE in the past. Now, in the wake of these shootings, Speaker Johnson has not issued any public condemnation. What has he done instead? He's focused on partisan sideshows like the Epstein files, which he's handled at a horrible rate. Calling an effort to impeach Noam as a partisan stunt, Johnson's silence on ICE abuses speaks volumes. He'll loudly defend border agents when they're whipping migrants or separating families, but those agents execute an American citizen. Johnson offers crickets. That's not leadership. And the bad part about it is these guys haven't even said, we feel bad for the family. To all parties involved. Not one shred of empathy for the top three singular dudes in office right now. Not one shred of empathy. These guys deserve whatever's coming to them. But lack of responsibility. For those of you who used to think Joe Biden was bad, this administration will make you miss the Biden administration. I'd much rather have Sleepy Joe than I would rather have Poopy Pants, orange hair, bad golf, Trump. Let's go. We're going to continue with our list because this needs to be known. Representative Michelle Fischbach, the Republican out of Minnesota, incredibly, a congressman from Minnesota where the killings occurred, has been one of ICE's loudest cheerleaders after ICE agents shot and killed 23-year-old mother Renee Good on January 7th. Fischbach rushed to call it a targeted assault on ICE and said that she stands with the officer who killed Good. She effectively blamed the victim, and 2 weeks later, when Alex Preddy was killed, Fischbach issued a lukewarm statement of sadness in support for an investigation, but notably did not condemn the agent's actions. This pattern shows her priorities. Reflexively defend ICE first, maybe worried about dead constituents later. Fischbach has made herself an ICE sycophant, proving that even a Minnesota Republican will throw Minnesotans under the bus to stay in MAGA's good graces. Senator Tom Tillis, Republican out of North Carolina. Tom he's just problematic in general. A prominent voice in the Senate on the Judiciary Committee, Tillis has long backed ICE and harsh immigration enforcement. After Preddy's shooting, Tillis offered only a mealy-mouthed call for a full investigation. Again, no outright condemnation of ICE at all. This is sadly a typical average of Senate Republicans. They acknowledge something tragic happened, but stop short of assigning the blame to agents or policy. Tillis and his GOP colleagues, Senators David McCormick of Pennsylvania, John Husted of Ohio, and Bill Cassidy of LA, etc., Louisiana, who issued similar statements, are performing the bare minimum to appear concerned without actually challenging ICE or Trump. It's moral cowardice. It's moral cowardice. And when you have a lack of morality and a lack of compassion out of your leadership, you got to wonder what side they're on. Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. Constituents vote in these senators and these Republicans and these congressmen. Senators do that, like we do that as citizens. And guess what? When we get taken out by a federal employee who our tax dollars pay for, these guys take the federal employee side instead of even offering solace to the people who were affected. Of course, Representative Andy Biggs out of Arizona, that guy. I know that guy. I don't like that guy. Biggs chairs the House Border Security Caucus and has built his brand on unconditional support for ICE, Border Patrol. He not only failed to condemn the Minnesota shootings, he blasted his Democratic colleagues for daring to seek accountability. Biggs sneered that impeaching Noam was a partisan stunt with no factual basis, dismissing concerns that ICE killing people as Democratic hysteria. In Biggs' world, ICE can do no wrong. This man who defended migrant family separations called ICE to crack down even harder. Expecting him to value innocent protesters' life over his precious deportation force is a fantasy. Biggs' response to these shootings has been to circle the wagons around ICE. His message to agents: go ahead, shoot when you want. And to the victims' families, you don't matter. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I am tired of these white men in these positions and these white women. I'm tired of the Republican Party in these positions that claim to love the Constitution at such a high level. But when it comes down to enforcing the Constitution and protecting American rights, they fumble the bag. Honorable mention: Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, Steve Scalise, and crazy enough, Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably on the right side. These are the sins of our government right now as they stand. I had to go live tonight because I wanted to get that list out there. I appreciate everybody for joining Marcus Ferrell Live. I'll be on later on tonight, somewhere around midnight. Thanks a lot. Support good candidates. Make sure that everybody around you is registered to vote. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Instagram, Twitch, and Substack. It's been real, y'all. Short hit. Peace. Peace.